Hello friends, I'm back and I'm very excited to tell you about one of the recent wars of my new alliance United. We are number 3 in the world currently and we play number 7 WarWolves. So we're having a battle of two top 10 alliances here. My first target is this base. It's similar to design to a base that I attacked recently. It's mainly global age. Even some buildings are below that. Some tank depots are above. So it's not that upgraded. So I'm using an army composition that is just a slight variation of my raiding army. And the main problem with this base is that first of all it's symmetric, and I don't think symmetric bases really work that well. And the other problem is that it's just very easy to get into the center, and once you're in the center, everything is in reach. There's no point of crossfire from the mortars, and there's also no way you can like really effectively place traps on the way to the center. So the way I go about this is bring 2 wall breakers for both of the walls, come from the bottom left, and then and then I'm already in the middle, and the battle will be over pretty quickly. So I drop everything here except my wall breaker and one of the generals to clean up later to make sure the army stays inside. So now notice that I drop my wall breaker by the dock. There he comes. And I have time to now get my tactics in, Blitzkrieg, which stops all the tank depots. And then the second wall breaker is on the way. First wall breaker made the hole. Then you rally here. And the second wall breaker makes the second hole. You have protect. And at this point the battle, we're 30 seconds in and the battle is pretty much over. Now the town center will fall. None of the heavy tanks, the first one didn't spawn. The second one I'll snap. And then, yeah, there's quick victory. The only thing I need to take care of is the stronghold now, which I do on the top with my transport. And as soon as that one falls, I can rally back into the center, and the battle is over here. It was a pretty aggressive rally, because I wanted to make sure that this one mortar gets out of the way, and that I'm close to the castle. And now it's clean up. It will take a bit to clean this up, but there's no more resistance at this point. I guess the general came out was a bit of a mistake, but it's really yeah, the battle is over here. So yeah, I think coming from the corner is like the most straightforward way of cracking this layout. There are a lot of traps, and it's kind of hard to avoid to run into them. In this base, they're not particularly upgraded, so it's not that big of a deal. But even if you can't avoid them, by the time you hit the traps, you're already in the center and you already take out most of the buildings. So at that point, you either take the transport to clean up the edges, or you take a few soldiers, and it should be pretty good. Yeah. So overall, I think it may be one of the better, well, I'm not sure. It may be one of the better symmetric base designs, but I think that itself is not very strong. So yeah, we joined the battle around just a couple hours in, but we already had a lot of 5 stars, so we were very certain that we would get a quick perfect score, and the only question was how much WarWolves can get from us, and how close they will get to a perfect score, or if they even can get to the full stalemate. Yeah, so in the second attack, which will come up in a minute, is I will clean up their lowest base, which is probably not as exciting to watch. So I'll not spend too much time talking about that. But it's an interesting part of the meta game right now, where you have all atomic gauge players, and then they sandbag with a industrial base in the bottom, which I guess is interesting, which is fine. So the idea is that you have a base that is too hard to be destroyed by any Iron Age or Medieval Age base, but that has enough firepower to take out any base that's like Enlightenment or below. So it's like like a sandbag killer here. And I'm just using my multiplayer composition for that. I switched a couple shooters for a wall breaker just to not run into all of the traps immediately. And that's pretty much it. You also see that they keep the defenses very low, so that it doesn't add a lot of weight to your war ranking. But again, that the offense is strong enough to take out anything that's not from a serious war participant. So yeah, get the wall breaker to make a hole and then just rally into that box. I didn't want to waste any tactics, so this is the only tactic I use, which is very handy because it stops the town center, and that's about it. So yeah, last time I'll let this attack run and then talk a little bit about recent changes. So last time I said it was my last war with Encore. We played UA Phoenix at the time, and after the war we had like a lengthy chat between the members of the two alliances, and we were just generally both more excited to have one really strong team instead of two pretty good ones. So with this merge of two teams, we now have a pretty good contender for one of the top spots on the leaderboard, and we also had like very very good results in the recent wars since then. So it's still pretty new, so a lot of new people, but overall it's been fun so far, and well, I think everyone involved has been enjoying it a lot. Yeah. So on the leaderboard, as I see it, there is Korean Army first, and then there's a big gap between them and all the other teams, and then we have First Dynasty, Good People, and K-Seoul, which are all pretty strong, and then there's United or Encore before, which are sort of the second group, and then there's another larger gap between those top 5 and the next. As you see here, we played like as number 3, we played number 7, and it was like pretty easily won war. We were at a perfect score with like just a little bit over half of the attacks, and they struggled a lot in the end. Yeah, so again, the goal of United would be that we close the gap to Korean Army, which is just insanely upgraded and very good attackers too. So we want to close that gap and sort of represent the English-speaking alliances on top of the leaderboard. So with this win, we were able to surpass First Dynasty, and are now at the best spot we've ever been. We're number 2 currently, very close to First Dynasty, and then K-Seoul and Good People below that. And yeah, as I said, we hope to help First Dynasty a bit to represent English-speaking alliances on top of the leaderboard and try to close the gap to Korean Army. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you next time.